Happy Friday, Cherries fans, and welcome to the Final 10. My name's Sam Davis.
My name's Tom Jordan.
And there we were on the international break, working out who we're playing in our Final 10. And Tom, we got it done in 9, and there's nothing better to celebrate with than a blackcurrant and
soda? Nah, I'm celebrating, mate. Prosecco. Let's do it. Are we actually going to try and pour this?
Mate, yeah, well, you know what?
You're doing a nice little tilt there.
Yeah, you have to do. This could go. You know what?
I'll tell you what.
I'm actually all right with this.
Oh, you're better than me.
Yeah, well, I'll just do a slow, mate. It's all about the slow tantric style of pouring. There we go.
That's all right. I'll go back to it.
That's all right.
But yeah.
Cheers, mate.
Thank you.
Happy promotion.
Happy promotion, everyone.
That tastes like promotion.
It tastes like Premier League, that.
It does. It tastes like Premier League. I didn't want to do a full thog dad, but I did.
Oh, yeah. Oh, lovely.
We're there, mate.
Just obviously a lot of relief. But also I think it's been one of them seasons that there's been criticism at times and concern. So that's where the relief comes from. But also actually looking back and you see all the videos and the performance when it mattered, a lot of pride actually.
Yeah.
I think there's been times this season, probably more so last season and then the relegation season, where you think, I'm not sure about this group of players. And obviously it's changed a little bit, but I felt after the game I'm really proud of them. I'm really proud of them, especially the likes of, your Travers and Moore, Anthony, who have stepped up to the plate. But just the scenes after, I thought this is a group that are together, and this is a group I can get behind. So, yeah, really, really proud of them, mate. And it's quite emotional, actually. I think with obviously the Brooksy and Nonny, obviously, it made it quite an emotional one. And but yeah, it was an amazing night.
Yeah, we sort of used that as positive energy the players must have, and
definitely what Nonny would have wanted, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. And there was a stage I was saying to Ethan in the 1910 afterwards. There was a stage after Nonny did pass away that as a team on the pitch we weren't particularly that great, and as a fan base it was like we so missed him because it was so hard to generate that atmosphere. But we've all come together at the right time, and look, that was in tribute to him and all the other people that have passed away. Look, there's been many a Cherries fan who would have wanted to be there and couldn't be there, so we're raising a glass to
Absolutely.
you. Lovely stuff. And on this preview show, which is called the Final 10, we've got, basically for us, well, it's not a dead rubber because look, Millwall have still got something to go for, but we're playing Millwall, and look, it could be a tasty game. We don't know what to expect. Here is what's coming up. Well, myself and Tom will just talk a little bit more because we can and provide some more reaction from our promotion.
Then we'll look into Parker's presser, if there was one. Not 100% sure because of the quick turnaround, but we'll let you know about any sort of injuries and, yeah, if there's going to be any changes to this last game. Bit of a dead rubber for us.
Then we'll talk about the opposition. Look, a lot of Millwall fans were up in arms when we did our predictor show that we didn't include their results in the mix, and here they are challenging on the final day. But we'll find out all about them, including an ex-Cherry to look out for.
And we'll look into that reverse fixture at Millwall. Tough game, it was a draw. A certain ex-Cherry might have got a goal that day as well. We'll discuss the reverse fixture.
We'll talk about the pubs and predictions as well. More specifically, if you're a Millwall fan, whereabouts you can go before the game. It is an earlier kickoff, of course, so your options are fairly limited, but there will be places open. Plus, we'll give our predictions too, and we'll invite you to put yours in the comments as well.
And I got it bang on last time with an unchanged 11, but I'm going to have to try and pick this chosen 11, which I believe is the hardest of the season. What are we going to do? We'll discuss the chosen 11.
And Tom, just as you said there about the reverse fixture, I was thinking, how do we get there on the train? Who do we go with? Steve, you, me, Rich Neal, Prosecco. And here we are. This is a tribute to Rich Neal, who had quite a night.
It was a good laugh, wasn't it? But that was definitely one where basically the context of it was Lucy didn't come, but it was her birthday kind of around that time.
Oh yeah, it was, late November.
And Steve had bought her a bottle of Prosecco to give her as she dropped us at the station.
But she drove off,
She drove off, so we just had this bottle of Prosecco on the train, so what are you going to do? And Rich Neal went, I think we should pop that bad boy open. And yeah, it was a good laugh, but I remember thinking, mate, it was a tricky game, really tricky game, and I remember at the time thinking, that was probably a decent point, actually. They were quite good. And I think that was one of Cale's kind of last games where he went down a few times. It was a tricky one.
So before we talk about Parker's presser and all of the reaction that's coming out of the club in terms of team news and stuff, I mean, there's not going to be much because the club's been in party mode ever since Tuesday night. I feel as though we should maybe concentrate on Scott Parker specifically.
Yeah.
I know we've done a second look on this, so we're not going to go over it for too much time. But you know what, mate? When he was doing that team talk, all that chat to the lads in the change room. So, did you see his bottom lip go?
Definitely.
He was so emotional, and you know what? Loved seeing that emotion from him, and that's, as Bournemouth fans, we always want to see that. But he's had his challenges throughout the season. He had a start of the season where he had to rely on the players from the academy. Seemingly didn't have much money to play with at that point in time, and he managed to get some results fairly early doors. So he had his challenges. He's probably aware, whilst he isn't on social media, he's probably aware of what people have said about him, including on Back of the Net. There have been some criticisms of his style, of some of his decisions, which goes without saying. We did that for Eddie as well. Like we're not just reserving it for Scott Parker, but there have been free-for-alls where people have walked past and said Parker out.
Yeah, I think that was a bit too far, but yeah.
Yeah, and it's like none of us ever wanted him to go at all. No. And so for him, it was almost like the culmination of almost being the underdog, almost having to step into Eddie's shoes and emulate what the great man, the king, did. And first time of asking, mate, he got us promoted. So there was a lot of emotion that seemingly came out. He was underlining to the players how proud he was. And they were all listening to his every word.
They were, and I'm just waiting for that play to go. Where's that going? Let's go to the Premier. No, stop that.
Yeah.
No, I agree, mate. And I feel like I'm looking back on it, and this is probably the first manager I've kind of felt. I knew it was going to be hard after Eddie. Yeah. So that was where last season I felt a bit of leeway was needed. This season, I've been underwhelmed for a lot of it with the squad we've got, and I thought, I'm not convinced. And it was I've almost felt like I've learned a little bit this season, because when, like you said, he gave that kind of speech after the game and that, I thought, I'll tell you what, it almost made me feel like he knew he had a job to do, and as soon as he got that job done, it all came out, and he showed that human side of him, and I thought, I really like that, and I thought, I'll tell you what I've never doubted through the season, by the way, is that the players trust him. Yeah. Because the players, when we say, it's a bit conservative and stuff, the players are doing his job, though, for him. So they obviously back him. And the group looked together again. And the last few seasons, I've been worried that I'm not sure if the group's together. And I think they're together as one. I think you saw that. I think they all look like they're enjoying it.
They've bought into him all season.
Absolutely.
And, sometimes you get the impression that a manager comes in, tries to implement a different style or slightly different. And there are a few players that look wayward. They don't look sort of mentally on it. They have the impression of not really caring, but I've never really seen that from any of them. And what I really liked about that speech in the dressing room is that he's got a very understated style, and he just says, look, lads, I want to speak, and all the players are hanging on to each other like that. What's he going to say? And mate, I mean, what's the song he's talking about as well? Because I want that song played again. I don't know what it is, but
yeah, no, it was
brilliant.
It was really nice to see, and I think we've got the job done, and now it's to say, right, let's see what happens, because if I've mentioned this a few times, we go to the Premier League and this style keeps us up, then you go, I'll tell you what, did he play this what we've called reserved, conservative style to get us ready for that and think that will probably just get us up, and then they already know how I want us to play in the Premier League, because Fulham, for example, have absolutely wiped the floor with teams this season. They'd be miles better than us. But if they try and play the exact same way in the Premier League, they'll go down with one of the lowest points tables.
So they're having to change.
So they've got to adapt. We don't.
Yeah.
We don't. And so that'll be it. If long term, if we stay up and Fulham go down, we're looking at it.
And when Fulham did go down, I don't think it was it wasn't a long. They were in it right till the end, nearly, weren't they?
They were. They had games in hand on Newcastle, I think it was, and they've messed up them games in hand, which cost them. But it'll be really intriguing, mate. But at the end of the day, cheers, Scott. You got the job done, and it looked like it might be tailing off. But I've said this before: when the games that mattered, we didn't lose them. We didn't lose them.
And when Fulham were in the Premier League, he didn't really use Alexander Mitrovic. He'll be using Dom Solanke week in, week out, because of how crucial he is just to the way we play. He's such a hard worker, and it's not only scoring goals. He does the hard graft with it as well. He comes back and he'll play that number 10 role or whatever. Honestly, brilliant.
And Scott's, he's still people forget he's still a young manager.
What, 41?
Yeah, and he's still relatively new. And I thought it was very poignant when he said that I don't think I'll ever work with a group of players like this ever.
And that's for early in your management career to be saying that's really powerful.
And I think that's whether he was forced into it or not. I think that's up for debate in terms of if Newcastle went at a COVID crisis, would Travers have started the season? If Davies had come in earlier, would be a season tomorrow. That's by the by, because these young players he's managed to mould. At the end of the day, Mark Travers, but more so on the pitch, your Zamuras, Kilkenny for a period, Jane Anthony, they've been moulded by Scott Parker and they've been bloody brilliant. Yeah. So you've got to take your hat off to him there. And I'm kind of excited now. It's amazing how quickly he can change. But he's, it made me reflect a little bit and think, it's difficult because of how much love I got for him, but maybe this is a new era now, and we've got to kind of put that Eddie. We're never going to forget Eddie Howe, what he did for the club, but he's a legend. He's gone, and this is a new era now, and a new group, and a new management, and a new style, new staff, and we've just got to get behind it now. This could be like the second coming, if you like. We've got to enjoy it, mate. I think now he's got the job done. It's kind of with what happened last season, we were hanging on to Eddie a bit. Eddie's not here anymore. We're competing against him now, and we've got to buy into it. And I thought what was really important was that game. The fans were bloody brilliant. Yeah. Absolutely, we were excellent. Or every single one, it was rocking in there. And that's what I like to see. There was a few times where it went against us this season where it felt a little bit toxic at times, but didn't do that. And it showed, I think I tweeted it, I thought, whatever happens, the roller coaster of emotions and we've lost Eddie and what we're going to do, and now we just drew a Peter and all this stuff. Whatever happens, when it come down to it, the players turned up, the staff turned up, the fans turned up, and together, it always happens, mate. So write us off as much as you like. We're always there together, and I loved it.
It was back of the net on a few. I'm sure there's been a few comments on a few shows from us, from fans. We all need to hold our hands up a little bit.
Absolutely.
And it was revealing that on one of the early in the season, League of 72, James Alcott, friend of the show, friend of the channel, subscriber to Back of the Net. Hi, James. He went to Dean Court and interviewed Scott Parker. And one of the sort of opening questions he said was, I watched an interview with you, and there are 3 words that you said more than any others, and he asked Scott to say what they were. Whilst James actually told him what it was, I found it more interesting to think of the words what Scott Parker thought he said, and one of them was like process, project, and all that kind of stuff. Youth or whatever it was, and he trusts the process, and as fans, we probably didn't trust the process, but all along he seemed to have it under control. Look, I think there were times where there was some criticism of him. In hindsight, it seems harsh, but I think it was probably valid what was said. Yeah. But now I'm seeing like the bigger picture. Like I said, like no money, like at the beginning, no new signings. The players and the squad were in transition. They were being asked to sort of play a new way, and a bit pragmatic. And I think then we had a couple of bad results, and like the fear factor came in a little bit, and we were worried that it was all going to go south from there. But he just kept going, and we've reaped the rewards. And
as you say, mate, process. I remember now. At the end of the day, we've got to realise we're football fans, and there's a reason why we get things wrong more, and that's because we're not employed to do that job. And Scott's going to know that, and he's, maybe we should trust the process a bit more because he knows what he's doing. But I think what's interesting, I remember when we were up to the Premier League, mate, I remember people saying, I never particularly was that one because I just loved him so much, whereas Scott doesn't have the affiliation with a football club, which makes it harder for him, which is not his fault. But I remember people saying, if we go up playing like this with Eddie Howe, we're going to get battered. Because we're so open, he needs to sort it out defensively. We're so open. It was the complete reverse, wasn't it? But it was like, we're good to watch, but we're going to get battered. And Eddie was always like, this is how we're going to play. This is how we're going to play. And it kept us in the league for 5 years. Unbelievable. We all thought, I remember one of the first games we were all singing, we're only here for the season. Yeah. And we had to trust that process. The difference is we trusted it more because it was a club legend doing it. And that's not Scott's fault.
Like I said on a previous show, Eddie always had more credit in the bank. Therefore, it always felt as though, look, there would be times where under Eddie we'd lose 3 or 4 in a row. But, because it's Eddie and because we got faith in him, he's got credit, and we stuck with him. Whereas Scott Parker was walking a tightrope throughout the whole season,
and he'd come
due
in
to some of these performances that weren't particularly good. And I think
Yeah.
at the start of the season we did really well because like the no fear factor that we had, having all these like young players in. But then we came undone a little bit. But he stuck with it, and I think he has been walking a tightrope, but he's now earned credit
Absolutely.
through that promotion. He really has.
Oh God, yeah, and yeah, you're totally right. You're bang on, and also the fact that we've experienced them Premier League days. That there is that we called one of the videos, one of the podcasts we did on it, entitlement. You always have a little bit, whether it's subconscious or not. You feel like with this squad, this squad should be in the Premier League. We've only been there. We were there not long ago, and we had worse players. What are we doing? We got promoted with your, League One players. So come on, mate. And that none of that is Scott Parker's fault. Has a lot of the football this season been enjoyable? No, it hasn't. It hasn't. But at the end of the day, he knew what his job was, and he's done that job. Yeah. Would I have taken unbelievable football and come in third? No, I wouldn't have, because I knew how important it was to get up this season. The club did. I think also what didn't help him, as you say, as the season went on, is he got back, so the expectations rose. Yeah. But what I will say is we've got to give a mention to Max and Dillon. That bloke just puts money in his pocket and goes, yeah, what do you need? We got to January in a good position, so he went, right, so you've got Solanke's one of the top goal scorers in the league, but do you want another one? Oh, right, have Kiefer Moore. Unbelievable. Dembele, have him. Campbell, he might not play much, but have a go on him. Nat Phillips, unbelievable. Yeah. Freddie Woodman sat on the bench. Like, the squad's a joke, and Maxim's always backed his man, and you see with Scott thanking him.
There should be absolutely no questions about the owners.
And we are very fortunate, mate. That's a lot of the questions you have at football clubs. And yeah, as I say, mate, Monday night it just made me feel very proud to be a Bournemouth fan again. And the last few seasons have been a bit, as you say, with the Eddie thing. Oh no, are we drifting again? And Scott's come. At the end of the day, we were drifting. Even with Eddie in that last season, we'd be doing that.
I feel quite emotional myself now, mate.
And now Scott's come in, and we've gone back up. So deserves massive credit. And like you say, mate, just like seeing that human side to him, seeing how much the players seem to show that respect for him, it changed me a lot. And yeah, it made me kind of reflect a little bit and think, maybe you have got to trust things a little bit more. I've always been a fan that's been known to be a little bit too positive sometimes because of how much I love Bournemouth. And I've kind of swayed the other way with watching the games and not being enthralled in what I'm watching. But it's maybe to sit back a little bit and go, you know what, trust it a little bit more, because all this club does is keep defying the odds. So yeah, definitely a bit of food for thought there, mate, and I'm proud of Scott and all the players.
Yeah, and like you say, it hasn't been as watchable, and there has been criticism. I think it has been valid. I mean, I've never said the phrase gung ho so much in all my life, but over the last week I've done interviews for like iPaper, Wave 105. Day before yesterday, I was doing some show on Premier League TV called
Premier League
TV called Headline Makers. Yep. You can, if you search Headline Makers on YouTube, you can probably see it. I didn't realise it was live. I was on Zoom. I thought it was a recorded thing. So if I make a mistake, it'll be fine. I was like, oh my god! And then he cut to me. He's like, oh my god, I got to talk about Bournemouth, and I'm unprepared. I'm unscripted. But you know what? It went okay. But I use the word gung ho because we're less gung ho. Yeah. We're more reserved, and you can see. And he said this in his chats about us picking and choosing our moments to, try to kill off teams. But we are more resilient in terms of our defence.
Absolutely.
The fact that we haven't lost by more than 2 goals in any game is huge. And have we conceded? Oh no, we have, because we conceded 3 against Swansea. But we've never lost
by more than 2 goal margin.
Yeah, which we've always been in games, which is something that we've never been able to say for a number of seasons. And
one of the words he uses a lot as well, talking about words, he is control, isn't it? And that is, as much as we say sometimes, oh, what's he on? When you say that stat, you go, that's because we're quite controlled as a football team, aren't we?
But recently, like that performance against Nottingham Forest, it wasn't
a boring watch though, was it?
It wasn't, and it wasn't Parker ball or anything, because we had and I think there was an article from Jacob Tanswell, a few other journalists might have spoke on the same thing about he needs to find the perfect blend, because there was that time where we were losing and it wasn't pretty to watch, and he said that maybe he'll need to sacrifice some of his thoughts about how to play the game, and it's like he's done that a little bit, and we saw the right blend of like attacking nous, picking and choosing your moments, but also defensively being absolute stalwarts, and we were.
And I think he'll also probably, if Scott was sat here now, I think he'd probably say there is other factors as well. I think the bloke that goes so under the radar is Adam Smith. Yeah, I think because it's credit to Stacey in particular, because he comes in and always does a job, it makes you think you don't miss Smith that much. But I tell you what, even last season, Tyndall and Woodgate done the same. When Smith's available, he bloody plays, and that we look so much more solid. We're so much more experienced when Adam Smith's in there. And I thought, you take away the sentiment of, Kiefer Moore obviously getting man of the match. I thought Smith was man of the match. I thought it was unbelievable. And we've looked more defensively. So I know there's the occasions you just mentioned Swansea, but in general, I think the defence look more settled when he's there, and I think he'll point to that. He'll point to how many games Lerma missed for his bloody suspensions,
Forget about that,
and it taking time for Lewis Cook to come back and get used to that role. So there is underlying circumstances, but yeah, I think what's really funny, weirdly, is when we went up before, and we're talking about Eddie, you're all going, "Oh, it's really good to watch, but I wish we were a bit more solid." And now we're going, it's not always the best to watch. I wish we'd score more goals. And it's the complete role reversal, but we're all wanting the same thing. And what I will say is, the games that are frustrating me and the games where you thought we've got to look at our principles a little bit to try and beat these teams, we're talking about your Peterboroughs, your Hulls, we ain't having any of them next season.
No.
Because we're the little... So really, our style's suited.
We're set up.
And Fulham are the team that have got to adapt. But I think that's another countering point as well. We're talking about the kind of credit in the bank and things like that. It doesn't help when Fulham are smashing it and all their fans are saying, "Told you so." And we're all going, "Oh, Fulham fans did say it'd be like this." But again, mate, he's a young manager, he's developing, and he's only going to get stronger through the process and through... But I always say, if you see the players going out on the pitch and playing for their manager, what do we know? Because if they're that's a massive thing. The worst thing I think as a fan is when you think, I don't even know if the players believe him or the players trust him. And actually, mate, I'm really looking forward to things now. And as I say, I'm really excited about how we're going to move going forward and how this team's going to adapt. And I'm absolutely chuffed for him. I really am, because he, as you said earlier, he's not on social media and stuff, but he'd have known, but he never once changed. He never once went... said anything out of sorts. He was always the same, always very level. Even when we bloody got promoted, he come on and went, "Good game, we got the job done." And after the game, he said, "Wasn't happy with the first half."
Yeah.
And I didn't think we were that bad in the first half.
No, I didn't.
So yeah, really interesting. But yeah, we're really excited to see what's going to come now, mate. And credit to him and credit to everyone.
So I know the answer to this. People that have watched the channel know the answers to this. But I want to ask you this: did you go on the pitch? Of course you did.
Of course, I was on the pitch. Forest fans would know.
Did you go over? Well,
Yeah.
so how were you? There were a few fans that were there waiting. Did you go to the front and then go as soon as the whistle went, or were you just waiting and then biding your time and then just climbed and then ran straight over to the Forest fans?
Yeah, so I'm
Did you run over to them? Did you run?
Gentle jog, maybe. I'm like row E, aren't I, by the crossbar basically. So I kind of waited for everyone to run on, and then it was quite comfortable to get on. But yeah, I am one of them fans that spoke to a few Forest fans, to be fair, have been great. But go straight over. They've been giving it all week. Go on, you deserve it. I've always been like that. I always think with the whole Watford situation with the local man and all that, when they got promoted, I thought we got to take it. Fair enough. And now they've got to take it.
I mean, you must have had bookmarked tweets dating back a whole year.
Absolutely. So you've got to have a bit of that. It's all part of football, bit of banter. So I ran straight over and saying, I thought you're coming for us? When are you coming? But after the game, all respect, and obviously love Cookie as well. So that's a big part of it. But yeah, I'd like a bit of going. I think it's all part of football, and I love it. And when we do away day shows and that, it annoys me when we do a category, don't we, on there about the home fan decibel level.
Yeah.
It annoys me when they're quiet.
Yeah.
Because I love a bit of banter. As long as it's not taken out, I love it. So yeah, I went over there and was just seeing, when they were coming for us, mate, really.
Are you concerned? Is not the word, but like we might never play Watford ever again in our entire history.
It's unbelievable. We were like always with each other, and now it feels like we're going to do that. But having said that, I think they might be in, going off on a tangent here, but I think they might be in for a bit of a rebuild at Watford.
Really?
Yeah, I do actually. I think I'd be interested
in terms of their philosophy, or just in terms of their playing.
Yeah, they've got quite a few players that I think might go out the door.
Who's their manager at the moment? I don't know.
Well, it's Roy Hodgson, but he's going, isn't he?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So toss a coin for the next one.
Yeah, they'll have about 7, so we'll see what happens. But no, in all seriousness, I think they probably need to not start again, but need a little bit of a rebuild now, I think. And yeah, so it might take them a bit of time. They're almost in the stage we are now, I think, where we needed that rebuild. So that'd be interesting. But yeah, I enjoyed having a bit of banter with the Forest fans. It's all part of it, all good fun. And they've been giving it all week. when there was a few little clips. I think there's a Forest fan saying this is going to be comfortable tonight.
Yeah, I saw
great.
that. Yeah.
So they've got to take it, just like
match
we would
day
take.
with, I think it was match day with Max, the Forest channel. He was on there, like you said, saying 2-0 or 3-0.
Yeah, and just like actually in recent times, we've had to take it from the Fulham fans, haven't we? They've absolutely, they've won the league, so it's all part of it. But yeah, went over there, gave him a bit of that, and then just enjoyed tried to find you for God knows how long. Did in the end. But yeah, it was great on the pitch. I love that, mate. It was really weird because I'm thinking it's just like so reminiscent of Bolton. It was a night game. Ended up in Halo after. Everything was so reminiscent of it. But I was quite emotional. I don't know if that's the Brooks factor, the Noddy factor, all them sort of things. Probably was part to play as well. And obviously hearing Cookie as well in Isley, it was quite an emotional night. But
and there have been times this season where I've really wanted the players to show emotion and they haven't really done it. But I'm watching videos recorded afterwards from fans that are on the pitch, or videos from the EFL that put it on their channel, or AFC Bournemouth's YouTube channel, or AFCB TV, and the players were like Lloyd Kelly, like properly like, yes, come on. And it's like, players in the changing rooms absolutely loving it. It's almost like the enjoyment of the whole season is just culminated in one moment. They haven't shown, because there are sometimes we score goals and they haven't really shown the emotion.
Well, I think you look back on that now and go, actually that's quite clever, because looking at it now it's easy in hindsight and obviously what's happened, but you go, well, that's good because that shows they're focused and they're not going to let it out till it's done. I always used to say it, weird analogy, but stay with me. I used to always say it with I don't know if anyone watched the tennis, and Andy Murray used to get so much grief for being like dull and all that. But he's bloody focused. Then he'd go and win Wimbledon for us. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, and then he'll let it out, and that's what the players did. But there's even little things like I'm looking back now. It wasn't long ago when I was thinking, why did we bother signing Ethan Laird? And then I see little clips of the change room. I go, good character, isn't he?
Yeah, good character, and he's like doing the GoPro stuff as well.
Yeah, and we've said it a lot about Emi Marcondes. Hasn't been involved that much on the pitch, but he's almost like not legendary, maybe not, but he'll always be liked.
Yeah.
Because and you need players like that in and around the group. I always say that season we got relegated, we'll never know, but Frano got an injury, Sermon got an injury, and you need them sort of characters in the group. And I think it made me see that Laird seems like he's really liked, and and like we say about Emi and stuff. So that was interesting. But yeah, it was really nice to see a lot of the characters. They all look really together as a group, mate, which was it's just lovely to see. And yeah, it's just. I just thoroughly enjoyed it, mate. Really, really did. And
how ballsy was it? Like that tweet that AFC Bournemouth put out, but on the tweets they did on the first game of the season.
That is unreal.
First word of every tweet: we are going up.
What do the kids say? Wadnin.
Wadnin, like big W's and stuff like. That's ballsy, but clever and brilliant and. I mean, there's a few fans from other clubs that have quote tweeted it saying, is there a more hated championship club ever than Bournemouth? We're Premier League, so it doesn't count. But yeah.
It's always better to not be liked.
Yeah.
If you like a team, that's because they're no threat. No one likes Liverpool at the moment, if you're a Liverpool fan, because they're bloody good at football. Right? You don't want to be. When we first went up, I felt, I don't like it, we're too liked. I don't mind it at all, because I think that means you're doing something right. But yeah, as you say, mate, it was really nice to see the group all together and just a nice spirit about the place. And as you say, it was a real release, wasn't it, from all the players. Like, I love that's what you get now with social media. I think, by the way, side note, our admin and media team have been unbelievable. Yeah. And obviously, Dorset Live and Jacob Townswell and that, just been incredible all season. Yeah. All season.
I suppose we better talk about this weekend's game, mate.
Oh yeah, we've got another one, haven't we?
Yeah, we have. Parker's presser, come on. And to cut a long story very short, I mean, he's been doing so much media, there wasn't much of it really. But look, if you go across the Dorset Live, Daily Echo, check out BBC Radio Solent, their Solent Sport Twitter account, so many reactions from Scott Parker. But just as we say, Scott Parker did come out and say that he needs to enjoy the moment. Because one thing I'm not saying that Parker's better than Eddie. I'm not, because he's not. But he said that I've got a habit of not enjoying moments. He went on to say, maybe that's the job I'm in, maybe that's just me as a person. As quickly as you have success, you're going to ask me questions only in a few months' time about the challenges of the Premier League and what that brings, and that's daunting, of course it is. And then the pressures of that and what we need to do, but I need to park that aside for a little bit. I need to enjoy the moment, the family, the players' wives, the players' girlfriends, They all make their sacrifices. We're the ones that go out every day. We're the ones that work. We're the ones that get judged on Saturday. And they're the ones that are closest to it, that have to sacrifice a lot. And I kind of like that, because like Eddie's amazing, but I always felt as though he was worrying about the next thing even before he needs to start worrying about it. But it looks like Scott Parker might actually enjoy this, which is nice.
But weirdly, I feel like Eddie said things like, I'm always in the my wife must hate me sometimes. Some always say, and Scott's very similar in that sense. But yeah, I hope he enjoys it. He bloody deserves to. And yeah, we've got a game now that we can kind of enjoy and be free. And as you say, there's not been much in terms of kind of team news stuff like that, because it's going to be the hardest predicted 11 I've ever had to do. Bloody hell, I don't know what. We could rest everyone, we could play the normal team. It's going to be interesting. I think we'll go on to it, but I think any bumps and bruises won't be risked. What's the point? He's not going to risk any injuries for a game that, in short, we're only going to come second, whatever happens. But he'll still want to win the game at home. And I think it's going to be a really enjoyable open game, because I think Millwall have very unlikely, but they've got to smash us.
Yeah, that's right.
They've got to smash us to have any chance. So could be an enjoyable one, I think.
Also coming out of the club this week in terms of press news is that Ryan Christie has been quoted in the
One Scottish
Daily...
Ryan.
One
Scottish Ryan.
Tom Crocker wrote the article to say that Ryan Christie said that he's not really slept for the last week. You and me both, Ryan. He said, honestly, it's not really sunk in yet. It's mad, it's such a long season, and then it all comes down to one game. And then going into that game, the first half was very emotional and there wasn't really any rhythm in the game. But to be fair, we stuck at it. The back four were incredible at keeping a clean sheet. And then a moment of magic from Big Kiefer to put us in the Premier League is amazing. He added that it was so heated and the ball was in the air for most of the first half, to be honest. There wasn't any control to it. So I kind of think we brought that second half and got that goal. And you know what? This is another thing that I'm really pleased we got promoted for him, because a lot of Celtic fans were saying, why have you made the move to little old Bournemouth in the Championship? It seemed a bizarre move, but obviously whoever it was that sold that move, Neil Blake or whatever, Richard Hughes, I don't know who's involved, you painted a picture of the process. Of the
project.
And it's come to fruition, and he can call himself a Premier League footballer.
Yeah. And I tell you what, I think with Ryan Christie, it's going to be numbers he needs to start improving, and he'll know that. Yeah. Because he's not getting enough goals and assists for the quality he's got. But I tell you what, mate, what a grafter! Jesus. Yeah. You put him out wide right, he just grafts all day long, and then Lerma gets injured, we bring on more, so we go, I'll do a job in the centre for us, will you? You know he'll do a job. Doesn't sleep. How does he not sleep? I've never seen him stop. I mean, the bloke is an absolute guy, and that sort of player will always be liked, because he gives absolutely everything. And if he could just slightly improve their numbers, goal-wise, assist-wise, then what a player. And genuinely, my only worry is if he improves their numbers too much, we're going to struggle to keep hold of him, because I love him. And a couple of £1 million. I mean, that is business, isn't it? Yeah. Unbelievable. So, yeah, chuff for him, mate. And we got a lot of players. I think Mark McAdam said to us when we spoke to him briefly that he said, we've got a lot of players that may have thought they're never going to get Premier League and have now got that opportunity. Ryan Christie, Kiefer Moore, Jamal Lowe, them sort of players are thinking, Sariki Dembele got an opportunity now, and I think that hunger's helped us over the line as well.
It absolutely has. So, just a reminder then, it's a 12:30 kickoff at the weekend. Don't be late, I'm sure you won't be. And look, we will be presented with a smaller trophy. There'll be a little trophy to lift, which is nice, and the squad members will also get medals. There'll be no pitchies. We've done that, been there, done that, but let's just enjoy the moment. One thing that...
Player of the seasons and all that.
Player of the season.
Mickey Cave Award and all
I wouldn't say it soured it, because you know what, we're all enjoying the moment, but Mike Botto did say for a number of times, just get off the pitch, because then the players can do a little tour. It didn't happen. This weekend, just make sure we don't, because we want to say thank you to the players, to Scotty, and they can come as close to us as they would be if you were on the pitch anyway. So yeah, just let them do the tour of the stadium after the game. We need to talk about Millwall. Let's do it. So, Millwall then, the Lions, we last played at their place back in November, and it was Prosecco Gate. Let's do this first. Should we relive the day?
Let's do it. I need to remember it.
Richard!
Come on,
Come on, Richard! The goal for Millwall. And it would have to be Benik, wouldn't it? Simple ball, Mepham missed his header, went over the top of him, Benik ran onto it and slotted it nicely, 1-1, game on. There we go. Solanke scoring, Afobe equalising, Steve getting lost in London, Rich Neal on the Prosecco's on the train, not holding the car. Do you remember we didn't do a free-for-all outside the ground?
Oh yeah.
So I said, like, should we just do one, me and you on the train, like a reaction video? Rich Neal, half asleep.
I think he fell asleep recording.
He fell asleep, so he's like that. So half the interview I had to overlay pictures until he woke up. I had to give him a prod, like, come on.
Was this the one we tried to meet Jeff Hayward and went to the wrong pub as well? Was that Millwall? Do you remember there was the two called the Wheat Sheaf?
Oh yeah, there was the Sheaf and there was the Wheat Sheaf.
Yeah, it was a nightmare, to be fair.
Something like that.
But we got a point.
Yeah, we got a point.
They were a good side, I thought.
Yeah, that was after 19 games played. The Cherries at that time were second in the table with 41 points and the Lions were 10th with 27. So the Lions' away results since our game in November, well, they've lost more than they've won. They've won 3, drawn 4, lost 6. At home, that's where their strengths are.
Yeah.
Won 9, drawn 2, lost 2. Millwall's recent home game was against relegated Peterborough United. They won 3-0. But Gary Rowett's side at the moment, as we check out the league table, they're in 8th place after 45 games with 69 points, just 3 points off a playoff place. And Tom, as you're looking at the table there, I mean, look, their last 4 games, they've not lost. One draw, one. I mean, form would suggest it could be a draw, but look, I mean, they need a win. They need to come out at us, don't they? Can they do it?
They could do. I mean, you look at, goal difference, and it's to Luton. Luton have...
But they got two teams to, you know...
Yeah, that's the problem.
It favours off 2 teams.
And Luton are, I think they're at home to Reading, so you fancy them getting at least a point. Yeah, it'd probably be a bit of a stretch for them, but we've seen stranger things happen in the Championship, mate, and they got no choice. They might, if they don't go for it, they go, "Oh, what's the point of us being here? We can't do anything else." And to be fair to them, Gary Rowett's teams. I don't know if Millwall fans agree, and I'm not commenting just on Millwall, but Gary Rowett, everywhere he's been, fans I've always heard that say he gets them organised, but. Interestingly, what we said at the start of the season, he's not edge of the seat stuff.
No.
And they're quite resilient and hard to break down.
He's improved on last season because they finished 11th last season. So, on the edge of a playoff, it's slow progress, but it's progress.
And they've got some good players, mate. And I've always said at this level, Benik Afobe score goals. He's a great player. He played really well against us. And yeah, they almost feel like, I can't believe that Millwall have never got to the top flight kind of in my lifetime, because I always feel like, they nearly get it. Yeah, they might be in good hands to maybe make that step up. I think it's probably going to be too much for them, even if they were to beat us. I'm not saying they won't beat us, but even if they do, I'd be surprised. They need a few things to happen. But to be in the mix and give themselves a chance, when you think of the money that's available with certain teams in this league, to be as close as they are to, say, Sheffield United, who've got the parachute pair, is very impressive. And I think they should be happy with their season regardless. But they're definitely going to be thinking, oh, if we got a few more points, we were close. But not going to be an easy game, mate. Just talking about the game itself, Millwall are going to be a hard nut to crack.
Agreed. It'd be really interesting to see how it plays out, because they need to score goals. If they,
They got a goal scorer, mate.
Yeah, and they got a goal scorer. I mean, look, I'm really intrigued, because we'll talk about our lineup, so we may tackle this later, because it'll be interesting to see what team we play out. Right, last time we played them at Dean Court.
I remember it.
What happened?
I remember it because it must
have been towards the tail end of Tyndall.
That's why I remember it. It was one of the ones where I thought that's killed him there, because we drew at home. I can't remember who scored for us. But I think we equalised. No, Dom. Of course it was Dom.
No, it wasn't. It was Dad. No, yeah, it was.
No, it was Dom.
Yeah, it was
but yeah, I remember thinking Tyndall was starting to come under a bit of pressure. And no respect to Millwall, but last season it was you got to beat Millwall at home.
Yeah.
And he didn't. And we drew it. And I remember that was when it really heated up. The pressure heated up on him. So that's why I remember that one. But obviously behind closed doors and all that.
So in our home games against Millwall, AFC Bournemouth have won 17, drawn 9 and lost 10. So that bodes well. All competitions home and away. Sadly, AFC Bournemouth don't have the edge. We've won 28, lost 38, drawn 14. In Millwall team news, Daniel Ballard missed the home game against Peterborough United with a muscle injury. Scott Malone was also out with a hamstring injury that he got in the game against Hull City. So who knows whether that former ex-Cherry...
I hate him.
Do you?
I hate Scott Malone. Good player, but I hate him. I hope he plays.
Which okay, Fraser, obviously that's a given.
He could be next, you know. He's up there.
What?
Next most hated?
Yeah.
Ex-Cherry. He's up there, mate. He could be next.
John Spicer?
Yeah, I don't even know if he's still playing, that's why I forgot about him, but Scott Malone's up there, mate. Can't stand the bloke.
Millwall player to watch then, Tom. I've got a feeling I know who you're going to say.
Yeah, got to be Benik, innit? Got to be Benik. I'll tell you what's weird is we've just played against Nottingham Forest, but because of what was on the game, Steve Cook didn't get like the ovation that he would have if it was a dead rubber.
Yeah, because everyone was nervous.
Because everyone's nervous because he's a club legend. Benik Afobe's not a club legend. But he's going to get a really good ovation because it doesn't matter to us, we're going to be good spirits anyway. And I think when he first left, people were going, he's rubbish. But when we look back now, our best ever, if Millwall fans might not know this, our best ever finish in the Premier League, we finished in the top half. And our front two was King and Afobe, was our most used front two. And Afobe was so unselfish, so good.
Yeah, poacher as well, which I liked.
He just missed some big chances and big moments.
When he has to think about it, it felt like he overthought about it.
But he always gave us all. He's a really good character. He got Jack Wilshere to the club as well.
Yeah.
I really like Benik. I really like him. He's had some personal troubles as well. So, yeah, really pleased to see him doing well in the Championship, mate, scoring goals. And if Millwall score, I always think, I hope it was Afobe, which says it all. But he's definitely one to watch, mate. He tore KO apart at their place. I mean, KO probably won't play. He might. But, yeah, he'll be one to watch. I'm trying to think of, because we've got a few Bournemouth links, I don't think Alex Pearce always plays, because he's a bit older now, mid-30s. But we had him on loan. When he was at Reading, I believe. So that's another ex-Cherries link. The keeper's going to get some grief because he's a scummer. Biakowski.
Oh, yeah.
Polish. He's an ex-scummer, so hopefully we'll remember that and give him a bit of grief, all part of it. But yeah, they've got a decent side, mate. They've got some decent players. Saville in midfield's a good player.
Yeah.
And obviously Afobe, I think Bradshaw kind of will probably play up there with him. And yeah, mate, you only got to look at the league table to say they'll cause some problems.
They will. So Afobe, he scored 6 goals in his last 8 games. He's their leading scorer on 12. And Jed Wallace has got 6 goals and most assists with 12.
Ex-Pompey.
Yeah, ex-Pompey.
Yeah, good player. We were linked
right.
with him a few times.
Yeah.
He's a good player, he is. Yeah.
He's got 12 assists, so most assists there. Premier League referee. Andre Mariner.
Okay.
So who do you have in the last one? It was
Scott. Graham Scott, was it?
Graham. No.
Was he the last one?
No,
he
was
one before. Who was the last one we had?
I've forgotten it already.
Bloody name.
I've forgotten.
Everyone's screaming at this. What was his name?
Mate, we're not going to edit this.
No, we're not
keep
editing
on
it.
going.
We had Graham Scott against, was that Fulham?
Yeah.
And then we had that other one. What was his name?
He kept on letting things go.
Yeah, he did until Travers took about 5 seconds to take a goal kick. And
Mate, we talked about this the other day.
Yeah, but I have been on a few nights out since celebrating. I can't remember who it was.
Well, you'd have to look it up.
I'll do it now. Can you just fill the time? It's like I'm like the main event and you've just got stall. Stall?
Yeah, all right. I'm just trying to think. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button, and there's also a like button that you can click. If you do that, it hurry up. It gets the video
as well, the bell.
In front of more eyes. What?
Say about the bell, the notification bell.
Oh yeah, and also click the notification bell as well because that gets you. You know what? I'm still thinking in the back of my head.
Hang on.
How have we?
Have you got like a jingle or something? Because we're loaded. Stuart Atwell.
I'm annoyed I didn't get that.
No, is it Stuart or Simon?
It's Stuart.
Oh, thank God for that. Atwell, yeah. And I remember in my head thinking it's A, but it's not Atkinson. It was annoying me.
And anyway,
there you go.
Andre Mariner is the referee. He's been only in charge of one of our previous games this season, which was away at Barnsley, where he sent Gary Cahill off. So could it be those two coming together again? We'll find out in the Chosen 11 shortly, but first, pubs and predictions. So it's an early kick-off. If you're a Millwall fan coming down, look, we've got an away fans guide. Click the card at the top of the screen. Note to self: the Weatherspoons in the away fans guide. It's no longer. It's not there. It's closed. It's gone at the Lansdowne. The Christopher Creek's gone. But all the other places, check them out. It's worth checking their Facebook page as well, just to make sure they do open early. But you know what? There's a Kings Park Cafe. Not for beers and stuff. You might want to have a little cheeky fry up there. The Cherries Cafe, if you fancy that as well. Lots of different places to go. Away fans guide. It's where it's at. Predictions. Put your predictions below in the comments. We'll read every single one. And why not put the first score as well? Tom?
Yeah, it is a tough one. I was just thinking then, actually, first championship season, we played them on the last day. I went to Millwall and we lost 1-0. It was off the top of my head then that we've had to go down on the last day, so it's quite interesting that they've got to come to us. I think...
Pressure's off, shackles off,
yeah,
hangovers.
Maybe, yeah, but I think it's one of them. You look at it and go, Bournemouth are just going to play free, they're going to be in party mode, they'll just go for it. Millwall have got no choice because they've got to win by a few goals and they've just got to go for it. It should make for an interesting and exciting game.
When I talk about hangovers, by the way, did you see that photo from a number of players were at the Canford?
Oh yeah,
big photo, and it was interesting. I was looking like which players had pints and which ones had lime and sodas.
Yeah.
Like Brady loves a pint.
Oh, he's well on it. Ravi Brady. I'm gonna go. What should I go for? Because I don't want to be too.
10-0, yeah, you can't.
Yeah, I don't want to be too disrespectful because we're up, because Millwall are a good football team. So I'm going to go 3-1 Bournemouth. Yeah,
I was same margin, but I think our defensive resilience will still be there. And whilst I know they would ideally want to score a couple of goals, I think it will be 2-0.
Yeah.
I think it'll be huge for the players to for the defence to keep a clean sheet. And
does Slanky need one for 30 league goals?
Yeah,
so that'd be interesting.
I would love to see that happen, and also that'd be all 46 for him as well. So yeah. Interesting times, that's what I'm going for. 2-0, put yours below and we'll check them out. Right, next, Tom's team.
Oof.
For the last time this season, Tom, I'm going to ask you to look at you like a performing dog, performing monkey.
What do we do?
Click your fingers, go on. Here we go. There's the pitch and there's our team, and it's arranged in the normal formation, Tom. Do you want us to keep it like that?
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Or we go like 1-8-1?
Yeah. No, I'm not, let's not overcomplicate. I literally think I could get 11 wrong, I could get them all right. It could be anything, I think.
I mean, should we do this one as what would you do, or do you want to do this as what you think Parker would do? Oh, you can do whatever you want.
No, I'm happy to do a little bit of a mix.
Yeah,
I'm going to give myself... I'm going to go a bit out there and just see if I can, why not?
All right, in goal then.
Oh, don't be stupid. Mark Travers.
But
I mean, he could play Woodman, but it'd be pointless. I think what I'm saying is you might get players in and players might have knocks. He's a goalkeeper, a bit different. You don't need to rest your goalkeeper.
No.
And it will just be, what's the point of that?
Do you think that would almost be to the opposition a bit disrespectful?
Yes,
if
a little
you're
bit.
Playing your reserve keeper.
Yeah,
I know he's a talented guy, but playing like a critically acclaimed keeper that's in many teams of the seasons. All right, yeah, Travers then.
Yeah, Travers in goal.
Okay.
Back four. It is interesting because I'm trying to work out, because now what I'm thinking is with it being like nothing on it for us, Smith's had an injury, but he's been so good. Does he bring Stacey back in? Does he play late? It's so hard, but I'm going to stick with Smithy at right back.
Okay.
Kelly's going to play, captain,
Yeah.
left centre back. I'm going to make a change.
Yeah?
I think Mepham's going to play. I think he's going to give Mepham the opportunity.
I would love that. I would love that.
We mentioned it. I mentioned it briefly. I think
You'd
in the
love
kind of after the day after the game, Mepham come on at the end. The bloke just doesn't sulk. He gets dropped every time someone's back. Comes in, go, we need you for a game. Oh, now you're back out because he's back, and he doesn't let us down. He's also been the scapegoat. I felt a lot last season, but he takes responsibility on, and I think Scott will reward him and say, I'm gonna give you a go in there. So I'm gonna go with Mepham to play alongside Lloyd Kelly.
Love that. And then left back.
Left back, it could easily be Zamora, and Zamura's been brilliant. He's just come back from a hamstring injury.
I'm not sure he will.
I think he might play Robbie Brady.
I was about to say Brady.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
I think he's going to try him there. And also, I think with players like Robbie Brady, are we going to give you a new contract, and things like that. So yeah, I'm going to go with Robbie Brady at left back.
Okay, then in midfield, do you think our three will change? Do you think it could be? Yeah.
I think Lewis Cook will stay. sat deep.
Right.
I think he's going to be the kind of deep one. We always say this, don't we? Lewis is the most deepest getting on the ball, but it almost works as a double pivot. Normally with Lerma, but Lerma come off injured.
So no Ben Pearson then?
Yes, he's coming in for Lerma. But I
What,
think
playing a bit?
Yeah, I think it'll almost feel like a double pivot
Okay. Right.
of Lewis, Cook and Pearson, but Lewis will go get the ball, and I think he'll say to Pearson, "Can you do Lerma's job a little bit? Can you? I don't think he's as natural as it, but can you be a little bit harassing?" And you know, he
hasn't seen much of Pearson outside of training, has he?
So I think he's going to do that. I do think Billing will stay in as the most advanced of the three. So yeah, but I think Pearson will come in for Lerma. Whether Lerma will be on the bench or not sure. But he obviously come off injured and he's played a lot of football.
Wide men.
I'm going to mix this one up as well.
All right, I've got a feeling. Oh, go on. I think you might
Stick
put Jamal Lowe.
Jamal Lowe's had illness, so I don't think he'll play.
Oh yeah, he had chicken pox.
Oh, well, rumours are that he had chicken pox, but
all right, we'll put Dom up there.
He
now.
wasn't even allowed in the celebrations because of his illness, so I hope he's all right. But yeah, so I don't think he'll play.
We'll put Dom up
Put
there.
Dom up there. I know a lot of people will say Kiefer Moore, but listen, Kiefer broke his foot. He's played more than Parker would have wanted. Parker said that himself. I wanted to just bring him on for 10 minutes. He's already a legend. But let's not. You know, we don't. Imagine if we played him in a game like this and he rolls his. You know what I mean? We're gonna go. What are we doing? I still think he'll be on the bench and maybe come on for a swan song at the end, but he'll stick with Dom up front on his own. The wide men.
Dembele then.
Yes, I think he's gonna play Dembele on the left, but I don't think he's gonna play Christie. Do you remember in the Blackburn game he come off with a bit of a knock as well? He's played a lot of minutes, Christie. I think Jane Anthony's gonna go over to the right.
Okay.
I think he's just gonna see if Jaden. He's done it a few times of late. We've always been like, when Zamura's not there, they have that. Because I'm saying that Zamura might be left out, I think Jaden can. So I think he's going to just try that out on the right hand side. So yeah, they could mix a match anyway, but I think it'll be Dembele, Anthony, and Solanke as kind of a front three.
There's Tom's tip. I can't wait for the match day vlog when it's all wrong.
It could easily be made, but I'd almost like to see Marcondes in there.
Yeah.
You could even say, well, he could play Kilkenny instead of. You know, there's so much he can do. I mean. There is just loads he could do here, so this could go either way. If I get this bang on, mate, I deserve a medal. But yeah, I've given that a crack. And that's almost a little bit sentimentally. I want a mix of sentiment and also a team to go and win the bloody football match.
Yeah.
So I think that's it. So that's why I've done that.
There we go then. Our last preview of the season, mate.
Quite emotional now. I wish we'd just gone to the playoffs.
Yeah,
quite emotional. But let's get it rocking, mate. Party time.
Yeah, let's get
Can't
it
wait
rocking.
for it. What
Party
season.
time, and you know, wherever you're going afterwards, make sure you have a few drinks, or if you don't drink, have a few J2Os, and just celebrate and like raise a glass to the team, because they've, you know what, they've done a superb job, and that we're going to the Premier League. We'll have time to worry about what we're going to do before we get to, you know, there's a few months to sort of cogitate over what the hell we're going to do. Do we need any players and all that kind of stuff?
Don't worry, the content will still be coming. We don't have pre-season, do we? No, we're going to keep it coming, mate.
Yeah, we don't have pre-season, so look, can I use this opportunity to say thanks to everyone?
I was just about to do that. He's taking a shine now.
No, go on.
No, go, carry on.
It's been unbelievable support we've got. I'm getting a bit teary now. I'm not. Honestly, I'm like.
Pretend you
honestly,
it looks good. Pretend you're getting teary. You're all right, mate.
No, it's been a pleasure to do what we do, and to do it in the Premier League is good for the channel, because hopefully we get more subscribers. We might be able to monetize it a bit. We've got a group of 57 or so monthly supporters, and without your support, we simply wouldn't be able to do what we do. We absolutely couldn't, because we've got so many expenses doing what we do. And this is still your channel. It's the only channel where you can come on free-for-alls and stuff after the show and have your say. And we'll be doing online stuff over the summer as well, where you just need to rock up with a laptop, and we want to get you involved, and we want to get as many people feeling confident and comfortable in front of the camera, because all it is just me, Tom, whoever, Tiggs, standing there with this little thing and just asking you questions. It's always good. It's good to have lots of different views, and look, without your help we wouldn't be doing this. And I know it's not to the taste of everyone doing what we do, but when we receive the comments and the feedback from everyone saying, you're like a lifeline to me. I haven't been able to watch the Cherries in X number of years. It's phenomenal. It's like I'm there with you. That stuff fuels us to do more. It's not entirely natural for me, but thanks to the camera that we bought based on the donations that we received, I can still enjoy the game. And just have this little thing next to me, and it just like shows you what's going on. So yeah, from the bottom of my heart, I just want to say thank you.
Yeah, no, yeah, definitely. I repeat everything that you've said there. Obviously, I am a natural, so it's a bit. Of course not. No, I love it, and yeah, thanks to you as well, mate. The hours and work you put in is unbelievable, and yeah, we appreciate it, and people we've met along the way has just been incredible. And it was weird to start with. We were going to games, but I think because of that COVID season as well, everyone had that break, and we're going to games. People were going, "You're right," and I'm thinking people like recognise us now, and
that's weird.
And that is weird. But then after a time, I thought everyone's so nice, and it's just amazing. You build these connections with people, and it's lovely. And whether it's constructive kind of criticism or any sort of feedback, we really loved it. And like you say, mate, getting the camera and stuff, that's all thanks to the donations and stuff. It's been amazing. For what is a really small football club and quite a small fan base, it's been remarkable, overwhelming at times. And yeah, we're just fans, we're all together, and we're never going to stop that, are we? That kind of, like you mentioned there, the kind of anyone can come on, and we're never going to stop that, because that's what it's all about. And we do this, but we do it because we enjoy it. And if it weren't for you guys, then we might lose that enjoyment, and then we just wouldn't do it. We do it because we enjoy it. So yeah, thanks to everyone. But while I'm thanking you, if you don't click the like button, do that.
Yeah.
But no, really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to taking it to the Premier League, mate. It's going to be really enjoyable. But it's been one of my favourite seasons because of this, because of all you guys watching. It's been so enjoyable.
I'll be watching the vlogs back, I'm sure, when I'm desperate to watch some kind of football. I'll be clicking on YouTube, watching all our escapades and seeing Tom miss about 20 goals during the season. Brilliant.
I called the Match of the Day theme tune last year, mate.
Yeah, you did.
I knew it was, we don't lose.
We don't lose.
Oh, buzzing, mate.
See you tomorrow at the game. Looking forward to seeing you. There will be a free-for-all. A number of people were queuing up. I felt so bad. But you know what? I did feel bad I didn't. A number of people queuing up outside the 1910. I didn't turn up because I was on the pitch. But look, this was my one game to enjoy it.
I think I want to say then. I think it's very difficult to say before, like let them know before the game, because you don't want to jinx it.
Yeah.
Because we didn't know. And also I said to you after, because you were kind of saying to me, oh, apparently a few people waiting, I feel really bad. I said, Sam, you do this because you enjoy it as well. Let's not take your moment out of it. We were on the pitch, and you still got the camera out, and we chat to people on the pitch, so it was great. But yeah, I kind of walked back and a few people waiting, and I let them know, and they all were very respectful. You got to enjoy it, mate. But last free-for-all, mate. I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully it will
looking forward to it.
All be in good spirits.
Yeah, fingers crossed. See you tomorrow at the Cherries.
Local man is promoted.
Love that.
Yeah, I don't want to do match day things again.